I love that little boo-doo-doo.
I know that was my phone.
That should be like part of our intro. Boo-doo-doo. Welcome to the Morning Muffin Show, your morning carbo load of real estate. Ba-dum-ba-dum. I don't. I'm
Good
gonna keep
morning, Jen.
experimenting. Good morning.
I'm Lisa Wickman.
And I'm Jennifer Cotis. What are we talking about today, dear Lisa?
Dear Lisa, dear Jen, we are talking about renting versus buying today.
That works.
What?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
works. I
It,
love this topic. I feel like it's very one-sided, especially if you go on the internet and whatnot, but we can talk about that.
oh, that everybody's saying you should buy versus rent.
Seriously, like if you Google it, it's like page after page after page of like mortgage companies, insurance people, investment companies, and it's like boom, 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 real estate agents. And this is the other thing is almost every single one of those people that put out those articles make money on you buying.
Well, of course, they're
And it's like
partial.
boom, 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 boom. And it's like, poof, 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 poof. Okay, I know that's my sound I'm
You're so
making.
dramatic. I love
I
it.
know. So I am going to play, even though I own, and I do believe that for myself, owning makes a lot of sense. However, it's not for everybody. And
No.
today, for the sake of not leaving anybody out, I am going to play devil's advocate and I'm going to ask some really hard questions today.
Well, I hope I'm up to making the answers or creating the answers.
Well, you don't have to be. It just has to be openness,
It's
right?
food. I think what we're talking about is all going to be food for thought. Things
Food
to think
for
about.
thought. And
Yeah.
we've had this talk before, renting versus owning being actually most of people that own property are actually like we're talking about liberals and conservatives. More liberals rent than own. And we've
That's true.
talked
Are you talking about racial discrepancies?
not necessarily racial discrepancies, but we're just talking about two sides of that coin, that political coin,
Hmm.
conservatives versus liberals. I don't think it doesn't have anything to do with it. And one of the things that has to do with the psychology behind the two, there was this really great TED talk not too long ago about the psychology of openness um
Okay.
versus purity, which it's really strange. So psychologically, and this could be a whole nother episode. Owning tends to be more of a stay in place, doesn't really want change, tends to be a more conservative. They want things to stay pure. They want things, like just like wholesome, and you could all kinds of things. Whereas people that rent and liberals tend to be more open-minded. They tend to travel more. They tend to be more atheist. They just tend to be a little bit more open. They actually more liberals than conservatives attend TED Talks, for example.
Oh, that is really interesting.
Yeah, I know there's some really strange statistics out there, but I'm going to talk about all kinds of things. So,
Okay.
Lisa, let's talk about what you found first.
Well, I found I found a couple of different articles. First of all, there's always the mortgage calculator. If you just want to calculate, what is it going to actually cost you to rent versus own, you can always just Google a mortgage calculator, throw the numbers in there. But it all depends. It depends on a lot of things. Let's talk about the pros of buying versus the pros of renting. There's my dog. There's the mailman. I'm so sorry.
The mailman's here,
The
Lisa.
mailman's here. So, when we talk about the benefits of buying, we're talking about creating wealth, long-term wealth accumulation. There are tax advantages. There is the potential for income. if you are possibly renting or renting out a portion of your house. It gives you a greater feeling of security and stability. And it might be actually cheaper than your rental rates. It just depends. That's where the calculator comes in. And prices are increasing. They have been increasing over the last 30 years, or it's just a better investment. So those are the pros of.
Do you want to pull up an article? I know I've got a couple here for you.
I have the one here. That one that was rent versus buy. Did I get you that?
The Manage Casa.
No. Yes. Manage Casa. Yeah. And this is an article that was put out in November, just in 2020, and it's buy versus rent. It's a long article. It's very good. And it talks about some major factors that you should consider. And, if you're going to buy a house and stay for a couple years, probably not the best investment. If you're going to stay for 5 years, 10 years, that's a much better decision. But we don't know what's going to happen in the market in the next few years. Prices have continued to rise. Are they going to continue to rise, or is there going to be some kind of a correction? Right now, interest rates are super low, but are they going to go up? So I actually tell my clients, even though prices are high, interest rates are at considerably lower. So you want to look at the numbers on that as well. But I really like this article because it has a lot of different, if you go down, it has a lot of different information. One of the things they say in this article is that wealthier people are choosing to rent right now. They don't know why, but it's becoming a trend. And I know a lot of people who are in retirement are choosing to rent. For a while anyway, it was a lot of retired boomers were moving back into the cities and renting apartments. I considered moving back into the city when I made my move, but I decided to stay in the suburbs. And I was actually going to rent. I was considering renting when I moved out of my other house, but I found a house to buy. So those are some things. Now, some negatives about buying is you have maintenance costs. There is, you might have to purchase a new furnace. Another advantage that I kind of forgotten about was you get to make it your own. You can paint whatever color. You can crank the music. You can do whatever you want in your own home. And that's a very nice thing. And people want that freedom. And it also gives them pride. Pride of ownership is really important. So it's not just a financial thing. It's also a mental thing, a psychological thing as well.
Well, let's talk about maybe some of those people that aren't okay, so one of the things that you brought up, an excellent point, is that pride of ownership. And if you want to change something, you can. But you also talked about if something breaks, being able to fix it. Now, one of the things that I was trying to find, and I spent all last night and all this morning, I don't research this for very, very long usually. So it's a 20-minute podcast. Sorry, guys. But
neither do I.
There is absolutely, I had the most difficult time trying to find a study, which I don't even know if there are one, if it's healthier to rent versus own. That's something that I want to know about because there are, you get older, your health starts fading. You have to maintain a property. Are you in a house? Say it's paid off and you're living on Social Security and then you don't have a payment, right? You just have your taxes and your insurance and Social Security. If you save up, it'll do that. But there's not really much left after that for caring for the home. Not to mention if you don't have a first floor bathroom. And there are a million reasons why it becomes important to reevaluate your situation and say, what is the healthier option for me? And I know a lot of people are like, take me out with my feet first.
They do all the time. All the time.
I hear that so much. And that's really great. But when do you want that to be? Do you want that to be, like here in Minnesota, I like to say we are one slip and fall away every winter from not being able to live in our homes.
Yeah.
And
You know,
so
part of those things that you're talking about, like maintenance and stuff, on the other hand, that can all be hired out
it can
if
be.
you have the funds. If you
Right.
have the funds.
If you have the funds, but if you're paying a mortgage, you have lawn care then if you can't mow a lawn.
That's
Maybe
right.
you live in a townhome. Townhomes are great because people think that your association fees pay for everything, but then you have to read the riders and you have to say, what if they're changing the windows and I can't afford to do that? Like I have a condo in Uptown that I rent out, and I just got a surprise $1,200 bill in the mail because I don't go to the meetings and they voted to get new windows and I have to pay my fair share of the windows. And because it's not included, even though I pay like $450 in association fees for a condo, which is actually quite high.
That's very high. But
It's very
that's just,
high.
I mean, that's the point about having unexpected expenses, whether it's a condo with an HOA or not, there's always going to be unexpected expenses.
Unexpected expenses. Likewise, though, owning a home. I'm going to use my sister as a really great example because her house in the past 5 years, her payment because of taxes and insurance going up, not her mortgage. Now, when your payment goes up, it's taxes and insurance, not if you have a fixed rate mortgage. If you have a variable mortgage, we'll talk, that's a different subject. But her payment has gone up over $300.
Her insurance and taxes are going up sky high. Is she in Ramsey County?
She is.
Ramsey County is so high. And Hennepin County is high, but Ramsey's worse than Hennepin County when it comes to taxes.
It is. And and then you have to wonder, if you can't take care of it and these things are all going up, we have to pay attention. And I wish that more studies were out there, that people are always bombarding American Dream, own your home, listen to your body and your situation. I will never force somebody into a home if your health dictates that renting might be a better situation for you. And I don't think real estate agents talk about this enough. It is an absolute wonderful option.
To rent, you're saying, or to buy?
Yeah, to rent.
It is. Renting is good for some people, especially young people. They don't know where they might be going. They might want to travel. They might move out of state. They might, and another reason not to buy right now is the instability of the job market. Mm-hmm. If you have any thought that you might lose your job, it is not wise to be purchasing a home right now.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people are really scared about that. And that's why we have such a strong seller's market, is because people are afraid to put their home on the market. They're also afraid they aren't going to find anything because there's not really very much inventory. It's a kind of a catch-22, isn't it?
It is definitely a catch-22. Yeah.
But I have been an owner since my early 20s. So I am all in and I rent my properties, and I love the fact that I do have that investment that will be paid off for somebody else. So say you own a home, your health fails, you need to move into something smaller, you can't afford a condo because all of your money is tied up in a home. You might actually make money renting out your home, depending upon when you bought it and whatnot. And so if your health is failing and you need some money, you can leverage your home.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, my long-term plan, kind of short, I'm planning on renting my house in 2 years, moving into another home and renting this one out. And based on rents today, I know I can cash flow over $1,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
My payment's fairly low, but yeah, that is another reason. One of these articles talks about, renting out part of your home or purchasing a duplex or triplex and you've got renters paying a portion of your mortgage, which is also a great thing to do. I know a lot of people who have started their real estate investment careers, renting out their duplex, triplex, basement.
Even if you just buy a home and have two people live in some bedrooms and take, a couple $100 for some utilities and stuff, it's great. It's a really great way to manage your living situation. And even if you need to supplement your income, I don't advocate putting a notice on Craigslist by any means, or start pulling people up from Craigslist, unless you need to. Usually word of mouth, healthy interviews. If you're living there, you're actually allowed to be more discriminative than if you were not living on the property. And that has all to do with me basically trying to protect, yourself, your children, and things like that from predators and things like that. You're allowed to ask certain questions. And if you have certain beliefs and things like that, you can if you're living on the property. And then there are renters. If you are a renter and you're in this situation, there are things to protect you as well from that nosy landlord that likes to come over all the time. You're like, oh my God, no, go away.
Yeah, Minnesota is a very tenant-friendly state.
Yes.
Very protective of renters. So, did you have any articles that you were talking about? I want to bring something else up.
Yes, I have that one from Kiplinger.
Kiplinger. So, Kiplinger came out with an article in August, why rent versus buy is the wrong question. So there's a gentleman named Jeremy Schneider. He has a podcast called Stay Wealthy Retirement Podcast. And he says that we're asking the wrong question. We're asking, he said, where is it? He just says that the better question is how much are you spending and saving in each scenario? He says people get so focused on which one is financially better that they're missing the big issue. So he doesn't use obviously a mortgage calculator, but how much would you save if you're buying a home? Because you do have to pay, insurance is higher. Obviously you're paying taxes. Obviously you're paying maintenance, etc., versus renting. And some of that money that you would be paying while, as opposed to being a homeowner while you're renting, maybe you can use that money to invest and get a greater gain. So he looks at longer term scenarios. And if you are a homeowner, are you still able to invest? Because a home is really, people always say it's an investment. That's debatable.
It's only an investment once it's paid off.
Once it's paid off, and if you sell it and make money on it. So it is, there are a lot of things to consider. We'll just say that.
I do have something I forgot. I do have something to share. I love this. I'm a map and data person. And when I was looking for yours, I found it here. Where is it? There we go. Data Solutions. This was an article, owning a home more affordable than renting in nearly 2/3 of U.S. markets. But here's a map. Isn't this beautiful?
Okay, what is the blue and what is the orange or gold?
The blue is buy and the orange is rent. So in some places, it's more affordable to rent versus buy. So if you're out there watching this and you live in one of these orange areas, then you absolutely are making the best decision for you and your family. Now, I am one of these things that you have to, if you're in a bad rental situation, please get out of it. I'm telling you, I have moved several people because of mold, disrepair, things like that. We do not want you staying in a rental situation and believing that you deserve to live in these places, because you don't. Okay.
There's a lot of slumlords out there.
There are. Do your research.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really great.
Cities, I'm sorry. It looks like the Twin Cities is more of a owner.
I can't tell. I think we can I don't want to click on it and lose anything or anyone. So you guys can play around with this data. This came out 4 days ago. So this is brand new information. Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. And then it talks about home prices are rising faster than rents in 83% of counties across the US. And renting is more affordable than buying in most of in nation's most populated counties.
So interesting. Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'll let you guys do your research. I'm gonna share this down here. Oh, hey, somebody's saying hi.
Hi. Thanks for watching. We love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys, this has been beautiful, and I love playing devil's advocate, and I hope that you guys have fun and you guys will watch tomorrow as we talk about college cities. I think we're doing Northfield and St. Cloud tomorrow.
Yes, we are.
We're going to start focusing on college moves this week, which is always fun.
College starts for Luis today.
It does.
Back to college. Yeah. Winter break is over.
It is. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everyone. Thanks for watching.